Good Wednesday, everyone. I hope this finds you well and living your very best life in Jesus Christ. Yesterday, Nancy looked at me a little weirdly. Well, in all fairness, this happens on a regular basis, I suppose, but you could tell she was puzzled why I was suddenly heading outside in my work clothes, hat in hand, when I had just told her moments before that I was going to my room to pray. And you could tell she was wondering if I'd suddenly lost it when she asked me with great concern in her voice, "I thought you said you were going to pray." "I am," I replied as I strode out the door, "just me and the Lord." She had several reasons to be puzzled. Most days I tend to go to my office where I will spend time going over the prayer requests and any notes I've written as I pray for each and every one. And I do this twice daily. I'm a firm believer in James 5:16, which reminds us the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. But of late, I must admit that I had noticed I'd fallen into a rut in my prayer life, spending the majority of my time in what I called request mode. You know, I was blessed in that my mother was a fine example for me as a growing child because she was a true prayer warrior in the greatest sense of the word. She was constantly praying without ceasing, if you will. It was so much her habit that I would find her whispering to herself while doing things, doing the laundry or the cooking or whatever. And I will admit that in my teenage years, for a long time, I actually worried that Mom might have some sort of mental disorder. Found out later she did. It's called thankfulness. You see, thankfulness is quite literally the stopping in the middle of something and disordering your thoughts. To be thankful and grateful for God's touch, His grace, His love, His providence, and His strength. But you know, actually now that I think about it, it's not so much a disorder as it is a reorder, or perhaps a realign. It's reordering our thoughts toward God and realigning ourselves to Him like a magnet compass needle seeking true north. As important as it is that I pray for everyone else, I must also make sure my prayers are based upon Him, His love, His joy, and His grace, and my thankfulness for these things. I must remind myself occasionally, just like all of us, to be grateful, thankful, and most of all, stop and reorder my thoughts to not just be always asking, but praising. And that's why I was headed outside. I was going to go cut the lawn, spend, grass or whatever, and spend time with my Savior. Just Him and me and the tractor and the grass. Come on, we have to admit it. Sometimes we all get into ruts. Ruts in our actions, ruts in our thoughts, ruts in our relationships, ruts in our worship, and ruts in our prayer life. Today I urge you to examine your prayer life. Have you been asking more than thanking? Have you slacked off, not finding the time? Are you in a prayer rut? Well, speaking as an old country boy who's driven down many a country road, when you're stuck driving in the ruts in the road, the only way to get out is to turn the wheel and prepare for a big jolt as the truck jumps out of the rut and heads in a new direction. I needed a new direction and a new place to pray so I could align my prayers to my priorities. So I turned the wheel, changing from asking to thanking. I suggest that if you're also in a rut, that you do what I did. Change locations where you pray. Change the time you pray. Change the frequency with which you pray. Become more mindful. Pray, not play. Become more mindful. Change your way of approaching prayer from asking to thanking. In other words, turn the wheel. I hope you make today a fantastic day. I want you to know that I'm here should you need me. And I truly love you all.